The only other thing we need to know is, did anybody watch this thing and how many?
Well, it's starting to become a very familiar story. AEW Dynamite on TBS, Wednesday, July 23rd, 8 to 10:05 p.m. On average, watched by 608,000 viewers.
Oh, so they're back up over 6. That's what, 15 or 20 ahead of last week.
It is 3% up from last week, which was 588, although it is the lowest number in the key demo since April. So the overall number was up.
You think the all-night, they just opened that all-night Wawa here down on, I think it's on Preston Highway. That may have taken
Get out of here.
some of that demographic.
You guys got Wawa in Kentucky? I thought that was just like at first I thought it was just a Pennsylvania, South Jersey thing, but now they're up here in North Jersey and they're kind of spreading.
No, it was on the news. There were people standing in line in this weather, in this shitty weather, for the fucking convenience store to open. And it was packed and jammed, and they had news reports on it. We got a Wawa. I've been to Wawa. Wawa ain't that fucking gaga, is it?
Dennis Carluzzo introduced me to Wawa. I'd never heard of it before. And he's like, we're going to Wawa. I'm like, what is that? I thought it was like an amusement park. I didn't know what the fuck it was.
Yeah, I mean, it's
like, we're going to get a sandwich.
Yeah, it's a convenience store that has sandwiches and donuts. What the fuck? People are easily goddamn pleased these days. But go ahead.
Again, Wawa obviously had a big effect on this overall number, 608,000 this week. Let's go to the quarterly hour breakdown. These were compiled by WrestleNomics. Quarter 1, 8 to 8:15 p.m. Adam Page and MJF's backstage angle. Page,
they had a promo where they talked to each other.
Or as it's called by WrestleNomics, an angle. Page versus Wheeler Yuta. Billy Starks and Athena's backstage promo. I don't know if you saw that, but that wasn't very promising.
I managed to skip that.
And the start of FTR versus Jet Speed. 669,000 viewers.
Ouch. Okay. That is the worst start that I can remember in recent memory. So the good thing about that is they don't have far to fall. They should be fairly consistent.
And that is the high point in the key demo, since that's part of the story this week. 18 to 49-year-old men, 236,000. Quarter 2, 8:15 to 8:30 p.m. The continuation of Jet Speed versus FTR. Picture-in-picture twice. 578,000 viewers. 177 in the key demo.
Good God. Okay, that's really bad. And they lost, what is that, 89,000, but they have to come back up at some point to make their average now. This is going to be one of those type of shows.
Well, we go to quarter 3, 8:30 to 8:45 p.m. The continuation of Jet Speed versus FTR. The post-match with Stokely Hathaway, Cope, and the Hurt Syndicate, Nick Wayne and the Patriarchy's backstage promo, an ad break, and then Jon Moxley and Marina Shafir's very theatrical multi-camera promo, 617,000 viewers.
So they did manage to fluctuate 22, 30, 39,000.
You know what? I got to look at other weeks, but the appearance of Cope, I think, is something that has helped them. It doesn't give him a giant boost, a giant jump, but even though he's not...
But it's like something's going on here.
Yeah.
Let's come back and see what's happening.
Quarter 4, 8:45 to 9 p.m. The Will Ospreay live promo, an angle with Swerve Strickland, or I guess Will Ospreay greeting Swerve and hugging him, or whatever the hell that was. Julia Hart and Sky Blue and Tekla video. Willow Nightingale backstage promo. An ad break.
God, I'm glad I missed all this stuff.
The Hurt Syndicate backstage angle. And the start of Tony Storm versus Billy Starks. 578,000 viewers.
Right back where we started from. They actually went back to the exact number of quarter 2.
Well, we go to the big 9 o'clock hour, quarter 5.
Top of the hour, baby. Top of the hour to you.
9 to 9:15 p.m. The continuation of Tony Storm versus Billy Starks. And the post-match with Athena and Alex Windsor. And an ad break, 597,000 viewers.
So they picked up 19,000 at the top of the hour. At this point, beggars can't be choosers, but they've had more quarters under 600 than they've had over.
Apparently other people thought the way I did. We go to quarter 6, 9:15 to 9:30 p.m. The Don Callis ramp promo and Heckel versus Swerve Strickland with picture-in-picture. 573,000 viewers.
Ooh, that's the low point so far.
That will be the low point for the night. Also, the low point in the key demo, 169,000. So, Heckel versus Swerve wasn't doing it for the fans. We go to quarter 7, 9:30 to 9:45 p.m. The post-match of the previous match with the Don Callis family, Bandito and Brody King, Ricochet and the Gates of Agony's backstage promo, an ad break, and the MJF Mark Briscoe live promo, 631,000 viewers.
Good Lord. So the MJF card must have worked, because do you see anything else in there that would have attracted any major amount of viewership?
No. Obviously, that match lost a ton of viewers. I don't think the post-match really gained a lot, but let's see what the rest of the show tells us. We go to quarter 8. I remind you, we have an overrun. Quarter 8, 9:45 to 10 p.m. Mark Briscoe versus Claudio Castagnoli with picture-in-picture. 621,000 viewers. 5-minute overrun, it says here. I think it said 8 minutes before, but 5-minute overrun.
It was 5. It was 5.
The continuation of Briscoe versus Claudio and the post-match with Adam Page and the Death Riders. 609,000 viewers.
Oh, good Lord. They bring out the big guns and lose viewers in that. But the 631 and 621 finish for this show is amazing. They should at least thank their lucky stars on that one.
That they got people back after what clearly made people leave is the interesting thing. The MJF segment and the Briscoe versus Claudio, but Briscoe versus Claudio is kind of a continuation of the MJF segment. It never ended.
So at least they kept them.
Yeah. Well, that's AEW Dynamite for July 23rd, 2025.